It's safe to say that this wonderful and soulful voice was one of the most unique musicians of her era. First and foremost, she was a creative artist whose delicate and skillful fusion of numerous genres including gospel, R&B, and jazz, as well as folk and pop, was further enhanced by her extremely soft but passionate voice. The centerpiece of today's video is all about Roberta Flack. Now, if you guys love my videos and love supporting me, then I suggest you become a member of the channel where I will be releasing exclusive videos just for you all. Be sure to get that family tier so you won't miss out on these exclusive perks. Now before we start, let's be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and push that notification bell to be sure you won't miss out on any more content. Now without further ado, let's cue that intro. Born on February 10th, 1937 in Black Mountain, North Carolina, she was raised in Arlington, Virginia, starting when she was 5 years old. Her mother played the piano and organ at church while her father played the piano and harmonica. Flack followed in her parents' footsteps by accompanying songs at her church where she grew up. Her formal piano training corresponds with an expansion of her musical interests, which included classical, jazz, R&B, and pop, in addition to traditional and contemporary gospel. Flack finished second in the state competition for 13-year-old black pianists, and 2 years later she received a full music scholarship at Howard University in Washington, D.C., where she studied piano before graduating with a music education degree in 1958. After her father passed away, Flack put her doctoral studies on hold and went into teaching, first in North Carolina and then back in DC, where she also offered individual piano lessons. At night, she played in DC nightclubs, eventually landing a position playing 3 sets for 5 nights a week, attracting some audience members such as Burt Bacharach, Dionne Warwick, and Johnny Mathis. When jazz pianist and vocalist Les McCann saw her perform at a benefit for the Inner City Ghetto Children's Library Fund, he arranged up an audition with Joel Dorn at Atlantic Records. Dorn signed Flack and produced or co-produced her first 4 studio albums. First Take was Flack's debut album that was released on June of 1969. Compared to What was a protest song written by Gene McDaniels, and it was originally sung by Les McCann. Now this was a single that was used to promote the album. Flack released her next album called Chapter 2 in August after singing and playing piano on McCann's album Comet. The set was co-produced by King Curtis and orchestrated by Donny Hathaway, who met Flack at Howard University, and they co-wrote 2 songs for the album. While the McDaniels written single, Reverend Lee, and a version of Jimmy Webb's Do What You Gotta Do was the most popular, Chapter 2 also featured a powerful rendition of Going Away that was written a couple years earlier by Hathaway and Curtis Mayfield for Mayfield's group, The Impressions. Flack's first successful songs came in 1971 when she collaborated with Hathaway on You Got a Friend and You Lost That Lovin' Feeling. The former peaked at number 8 on the R&B charts and entered the top 40 on the pop charts, peaking at number 29, and was later nominated for a Grammy in the Best R&B Vocal Performance by a Duo or a Group. Flack released Quiet Fire in November, and right after the title track hit the charts. Flack's first professional debut song, Go Up Moses, was co-written by Joel Dorn and Reverend Jackson Jackson, who made this song a great debut. The album's sole hit, Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow, lost the singer's reign on the Billboard Adult Contemporary charts. After the song had ran its course, Atlantic released The First Time I Ever Saw Your Face from her debut album as a single. Clint Eastwood included this song on his movie Play Misty for Me. The song went on to top the charts in the Billboard pop charts for 6 weeks, as well as the adult contemporary and R&B charts. With the song being featured into that movie, it made the debut album rose to the top of the mainstream charts and the R&B charts. Surprisingly, the release of The First Time I Ever Saw Your Face coincided with the 1972 release of Roberta Flack and Donny Hathaway, which included the duo's 2 previously hit duets and a third, Where's the Love, that topped the R&B and adult contemporary charts. And it also peaked at number 5 on the Billboard pop charts. At the 15th annual Grammy Awards, The First Time I Ever Saw Your Face won Record of the Year, and Where's the Love took the award for Best Pop Vocal Performance by a Duo or a Group. Additionally, Quiet Fire was nominated for Best Pop Vocal Performance by a Female. Flack's hot run continued with her 4th album, Killing Me Softly, that was released in August of 1973. The title song spent 4 weeks at the top of the Hot 100 charts, earning Flack her 2nd consecutive Grammy Award for Record of the Year. Flack's follow-up song Jessie became her 5th top 40 success, and a 10-minute rendition of Susan shown that she still had a talent for extending out to different genres. Flack worked on her next album, Feeling Like Making Love, for nearly a year and ended up producing it under the name after Joel Dorn distanced himself and co-producer Gene McDaniels also stepped out. Flack, who had previously produced Atlantic recordings by Marion Williams, Donald Lees, and Wayne Davis, was no stranger to the position, but she did struggle with her own sessions. The album's March 1975 debut was rather underwhelming, giving the McDaniels pen title track a number 1 pop, R&B, and adult contemporary success came 10 months earlier. Flack then collaborated with McDaniels and Joe Furler to co-produce Blue Lights in a Basement. Its title is a reference to house parties for intimate dancing. James Mtume and Reggie Lucas, who was accomplished jazz musicians and was looking to expand their repertoire, and they co-produced The Closer I Get to You, which was a sparking duet with Donny Hathaway that became Flack's 3rd number 1 R&B single, as well as a number 2 on the pop charts and number 3 on the adult contemporary charts. Due to the long gap between her 6th and 7th album, Atlantic put the pressure on Flack to record the theme song and another material for the film If I Ever See You Again that was written, directed, and produced by Joe Brooks. Brooks, Joe Furler, and Flack co-produced next album, the self-titled album, and the song If I See You Again was easily its greatest success, reaching number 1 on the adult contemporary list, number 24 on the mainstream charts, and number 37 on the R&B charts. Flack was in the process of recording a 2nd album of duets with Donny Hathaway when her singing partner tragically fell from his balcony in his hotel room. Now, this incident was deemed a suicide. Devastated, Flack finished the album, and the album Roberta Flack featuring Donny Hathaway was released in March of 1980. Now, if you want to hear more about the life and career of Donny Hathaway, then please check out my video, You Are My Heaven, a ballad that was written by Stevie Wonder and co-produced by Eric Mercury, and the up-tempo Back Together Again, that was a James Mtume and Reggie Lucas composition that featured an all-star group of backing vocalists that included Stevie Wonder, Luther Vandross, Gwen Guthrie, and Jocelyn Brown. Now, this resulted in 2 joyful top 10 R&B hits. Flack and Hathaway was nominated for 2 more Grammys. Before the end of the year, Flack and Peabo Bryson recorded and published the double live album Live and More, which alternated between the artists' individual singles and performances of Flack's and Hathaway's songs. Flack and Bison was a dangerous team. Arguably, some people would say that this duo was better than her and Donnie. However, Flack's soundtrack for the 1981 film Bustin' Loose that featured Richard Pryor and Cicely Tyson had featured the Bison duet Ballad for the D. That was a song that paid tribute to Donny Hathaway. Following the 1982 release of Flack's I'm the One that featured the number 13 pop hit Making Love, another film theme penned by Burt Bacharach, Carol Bayer Sager, and Bruce Roberts. The two vocalists collaborated again on Born to Love. The album released in 1983 and was led by Tonight I Celebrate My Love. That was a number 16 pop success, and it also reached number 10 on the R&B and adult contemporary charts. Over the following years, Flack performed widely, including a tour with Miles Davis, and worked on a couple of studio projects, a collection of early R&B songs, and a Nat King Cole tribute that never materialized. In the midst of the New Jack Swing era, she released the albums Oasis and Set the Night to Music in 1988 and 1991, respectively. The album Oasis sent Flack back to the top of the R&B charts, while the Ashford and Simpsons duet Look Out, Here It Comes earned her a number 1 club smash. Another song on the album, And So It Goes, was written by her longtime friend Maya Angelou. With a few minor exceptions, Set the Night to Music remained focused on smooth and polished modern R&B with a little of hip-hop influence. Flack collaborated with Maxi Priest on the title song, which became her 6th and final top 10 pop success. Flack's only other real studio album was from the 1990s, which was the 1994 self-titled album that featured pop, soul, and jazz covers. Flack produced the Christmas album that was released in 1997. Now, with the Fugees re-recording their rendition of Killing Me Softly with his song, this introduced Roberta Flack to a whole new generation. And during the same decade, she made 2 cover albums for the Japanese market, most notably Stop the World and Friends. Her final album, Let It Be Roberta, was a tribute to the Beatles, and it published in 2012. Now, during this late stage of her career, she occasionally performed and recorded. Flack earned a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award and was one of the first inductees into the Women's Songwriters Hall of Fame. Flack felt unwell while performing at the Apollo Theater benefit for the Jazz Foundation of America in 2018, leaving the stage and having to be transported to Harlem's Hospital Center. In a statement, Flack's management stated that she suffered a stroke a few years ago and was still not feeling well, but was doing fine. She was being detained overnight for medical evaluation. Flack stated in late 2022 that she has been diagnosed with ALS and had to retire from performing since the condition made it impossible to sing. Roberta Flack passed of cardiac arrest on February 24th, 2025 at the age of 88. Now, before we go, I have a few questions for you all. What is your favorite song by Roberta Flack? Also, who do you believe is Roberta Flack's best duet partner? Donny Hathaway or Peabo Bryson?